We're back on the Morning Brew, and this is Ralph Mims, old friend. You are also the Economic Development Manager of the Village of Los Lunas.
Yes, I am.
And you guys are doing some great stuff down there. We in Albuquerque, we often forget about Los Lunas, you know?
Yes, of course.
It's easy to forget who's south of us.
Yes.
But you guys are doing a lot.
Well, you know, the Village of Los Lunas is a rising star, small community, big possibilities. That's our brand line. You know, Village of Los Lunas is one of the fastest growing cities in the state. We're close to Albuquerque. We're within the Albuquerque MSA. So that's a great advantage for us. We're not in some outpost far away for economic development attraction.
Right. You're 20 minutes away.
20 minutes away.
Yeah, it makes it very easy to get there and live there and commute here, or live here, commute there.
Yes, absolutely.
And you know, I was down there just not too long ago, and the main drag is really seeing a lot of new businesses, a lot of new development. It seems pretty amazing.
Yeah, we're doing a lot of great economic development attraction in the Village of Los Lunas. We attracted a lot of the major chains, major franchises have come to Los Lunas. You have to think of it, Dan, we're close to Albuquerque. So a lot of individuals like to live in a small town.
Right.
So my job is
access to the big city.
Access to the big city.
Yeah.
And my job as the economic development manager is to bring retail to Los Lunas so they don't have to spend their dollars in Albuquerque. We can keep our gross receipt taxes, our economic development activities within Los Lunas.
I love that. And Business First has been writing a little bit about the Los Moros project, which I
Yes.
think is very cool. It's what, a 50-acre full-on industrial site.
Yes, that's our business park, which is west of the interstate. It's actually northwest of the interstate. So the Marilot building, which is there, has been vacant for about 5 years. It used to be an old cabinet factory. Now we have some investors, the owners of the business park have bought the building, so we're trying to get a long-term lease so we can get employment, jobs back into the community.
Am I right in thinking that that was former City Councilor Tim Cummins?
Yes,
or
it
County
was.
Commissioner Tim Cummins?
County Commissioner Tim Cummins.
Yeah.
He's one of the partners in real estate with Robin Dyke and other individuals who purchased the property.
Very cool. And so what, as the economic developer, can you do with that? I mean, is this a thing that now you can call on companies
Absolutely.
and say, hey, we've got this beautiful building.
Absolutely.
It's ready to go.
Absolutely. You know, that building is 366,000 square feet. It's
That's
actually
huge.
the largest vacant building in New Mexico. So, you know, a lot of companies, when they come into New Mexico, they're looking at vacant buildings, instead of building from the ground up.
Right.
So that's an asset that is in our community. It's vacant. So we're hoping to get a long-term lease on that building so we can get jobs, employment,
Right.
not only to serve Los Lunas, but to serve Valencia County and the Albuquerque MSA.
Right. Well, one of the things that the governor's been working on, you guys have been working on, Albuquerque's been working on, is the diversification of the economy, trying to
Yes.
bring in more manufacturing.
Yes, absolutely.
And that building is already purpose-built for
Yes.
manufacturing. It doesn't even have rail access?
It does not. Our rail spur, I would say, is about a mile away from that.
Close.
It's close. So basically, it will take some infrastructure improvements to bring the rail there. If the rail, Dan, were to go to that building, it would just explode.
Right.
We would get so much more interest in that building. But I would predict within a year, we should have a tenant in that building.
That'd be great. And then also on top of that, you guys have the BNSF business park that's also starting to get rolling,
Yes,
right?
yeah, absolutely. That's a project that we're hoping to get an announcement soon. That's going to be a huge employer within the region,
Right.
in Albuquerque, within Los Lunas, Belen, Valencia County. So we're keeping our fingers crossed. Hopefully that will happen.
Right. I know that you guys also pitched Tesla. on
Tesla,
that.
well, you know. Yeah.
We didn't get them, but
we
what
didn't
was
get
that
them,
like?
but you know, we tried. We put our bid in for Tesla.
What is that bid like? What do you do? You're like, okay, Tesla, we want your billion-dollar plant here.
Yes.
And how do you even write a proposal for somebody like that?
Well, you know, basically, you know, when you look at these large manufacturers that come into your city, it's mainly on the state. The state will have to give the right incentives
Right.
to compete with Arizona, Oklahoma, Texas.
Nevada in this case.
And Nevada. So it's not so much the villages of Los Lunas, it's the state of New Mexico economic development
Right.
to really pitch these companies to come in. What type of incentive they offer, what type of
tax breaks,
the
closing
IRBs,
funds.
JTIP, all these things are
Right.
incentives to bring these companies in.
Right. Which one of those you think is the most useful right now? I know the governor's been making a big deal of the closing fund, which is great. Yes. We finally have a $50 million closing fund in the state, and that helps pay for infrastructure for buildings that go in. So you're trying to put a building in somewhere, and the closing fund helps pay for water lines, for example, going to that. Is that something, I mean, that's something that we're making a big deal of, or putting a lot of state money into. Is it something that you guys see on the ground? Is actually making a difference?
That could be a deal closer. You know, when you have $50 million, you're competing with Texas, Colorado, and Arizona. We have to be competitive economically. So that's part of our LEADER fund. So the LEADER fund has $50 million. That gives us a competitive advantage when we're competing with other states.
Or actually lessens our competitive disadvantage, I think, in some ways.
Yeah. So, you know, when these companies need money for tenant improvements, need money for leasing, infrastructure, that just gives us another carrot to compete with other states. Because these companies, when they are looking at New Mexico, they are looking at 2 or 3 other states.
Right. Well, one of the big things I know you guys are doing beyond just the on-the-ground economic development is beautification projects.
Yes, absolutely.
Tell me about the new one. It's the interstate beautification project.
Well, you heard of the Big I. We're going to be better than the Big I.
Excellent.
See, this is now what's going to happen on Thursday, August 20th at 9 o'clock. I'd like to invite everyone to come out to celebrate our beautification project. We're going to have new landscaping, new artwork, EFG Creative, Eric Garcia, Darren Higgs. They're the designers for this project. We have new lighting. We have our bridge overpass that will have our branding slogan, small community, big possibilities.
Excellent.
And we want to showcase our interstate. We only have one interstate. But, you know, when it comes to economic development, you want to have a good impression when people come into your town. You don't want to have dead weeds and plants. When people look at your town, you want to have beautification.
Well, you want to show people that you guys really, truly do care about where you live. And that's where, you know, I think a lot of people do miss the point of beautification projects, and they don't think of them as economic development. But it really is the whole idea of you don't want to go into a store that looks dumpy, nor do you want to move your company to a community that looks dumpy, right?
You know, Dan, that's curb appeal. You know, if you go into a house and it looks dumpy, you don't want to go into the house. Same analogy. When you drive into a town and you have beautiful lighting, beautiful landscaping,
and it looks like a pleasant place.
It's a pleasant place. You get off the freeway. You'll attract businesses and you'll attract residents. Someone that's driving on I-25 may get off, go into Los Lunas and say, hey, this is the type of village, city I want to live in.
I love that. This is for Business on the Brew, hashtag Business on the Brew. Reach out to us, and we love it when you tweet at us, Facebook at us, all of that stuff. And you can stick around for a bit. We'll talk a little bit more economic development.
Please do.
All right, on the Morning Brew with friends.